SSA Glove National Championship wrap-up show. We're back out here at Bulger Park. The kind enough to let us use the room. Jerry Brown.
We're back. I'm back, and it's been a great season. Every tournament has been its own different animal, but we're back. We're ready to get it going.
Yeah. So interesting weekend. I thought we saw some pretty good softball. A couple of surprises. You mentioned the Goons team last week on the preview show.
They have my favorite coach over at the Goons.
Yeah, Marla does a great job. And they surprised everybody by
Not me.
Finishing tied for fifth after they finished fourth in the Playing for Peace Class B National Championship tournament. So that was a great story following them around all weekend. And we also saw Sub City from Iowa have a great run. They finished fourth, and everybody was talking about F-Town and Punch, but Sub City ended up being the team from Iowa that made a run this year.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked that I thought F-Town might go a little further than they did, but happy for Sub City, and Iowa represent themselves very well this past weekend.
Yeah, well, F-Town is going to make the trip in for the major. So, and of course, we wish Brendan Boyle the best. Had a little bit of an injury, ended up with 16 stitches.
Oh, wow.
And I think that might have affected F-Town a little bit. They went out relatively early on Sunday, but good weekend. Fat Kids ended up winning. They did a great job, I thought. Best I've seen them look. We'll see if they can carry that over into next week for the major tournament, but they look very good. A lot of good softball, a lot of good young players running around. Kudos to 10 Deep. They finished third.
Yep.
And I thought they had a terrific weekend. Of course, Savage second, but we'll get to all of these place finishes. So going to show you the list that we showed you last week. Obviously, it ran through 2023, so we have a new team that'll be on there next year. Of course, that'll be the Fat Kids.
All right.
So let's get to some photos, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the tournament. There's a good look at the Fat Kids team after they won the tournament. And like I said, they had a great weekend. They were together. They were playing really solid defensively. They did score some runs, and they needed to, especially against Sub City when they were up 13-1. Sub City caught them, and the Fat Kids ended up winning that game 15-14.
What a game.
Yeah, and they got what they needed when they got it, and they had quite a few players have really good tournaments, and I thought best that I've seen them look.
Yeah, well, the Fat Kids, they were always there, and they just had to put it all together, and they did it at the best time, which was last week in the A Nationals.
Absolutely, and I think that's the fun part of that event is that it brings out the best in teams, and Fat Kids have been knocking on the door for a while, and they finally got over the hump and played very, very solidly. The next photo we're going to show you was the runner-up, Savage, and they had a pretty nice tournament themselves. Savage was a lot like Fat Kids. They weren't necessarily blowing people out, but they were getting the job done, and they were finding a way to win. And toward the end there, they lost the winter bracket championship game to the Fat Kids. They beat 10 Deep to get back, and it almost looked like they might have been a little bit out of gas when they got to the championship game. I think the Fat Kids won 9-4, I want to say, in that game. But they had a really good weekend as well. Put a couple of guys on the all-tournament team. And they're, I believe, coming to the major as well.
Okay, now the major is getting full, huh?
Well, we got 24 right now. And the entry will be cut off this weekend. So if there's any other teams that want to jump in and try their hand at it, you still got time, but you got to get a hold of Anthony Tyler in order to get in. So next team that we'll show third place finishers, 10 deep. And
I want to show 10 deep some love. The Roman numeral 10.
well, they certainly, we weren't on the camera. You might want to do that
Okay,
again.
10 deep. I'm going to show you some love with the Roman numeral 10. 10 deep.
There you go.
Great tournament, guys.
And they did. They played very well. They got some nice, young, exciting players on that team.
I love that left fielder, Trell. I think that's his name. He's one of my.
Terrell Giles.
Yes, he's one of my. He's on my radar, and they have some seasoned veterans, as you could say, TP. He's there, and they had a couple other guys, which Cordell.
Cordell Irving, yeah.
Yeah, Cordell Irving is an up and coming star, along with his brother. I forget his name right now, Aaron. And so they to make a long story short, 10 Deep has some very solid foundational pieces for the future.
Yeah, they really did. If I'm not mistaken, Terrell Giles did make one of the all-tournament teams. We're going to have that list up shortly for everybody. And, of course, I like Cordell's game. He was doing everything. They started him in one game at third. He went to short. Then they put him in center. And everywhere they put him, he was catching the ball. And he seemed like he's a very versatile player. I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good shortstop. And he's hitting the ball well. And like you said, an up-and-comer for sure.
Now you know what my next statement is. If the guy played 3 different positions and played them all well, you know what I'm about to ask you. Is he going to be all GO?
Well, we'll see.
You got to give us
We'll
give us a crumb. Give us something to nibble
No,
on.
there's no leaks because I'm the only guy that knows.
Yeah, I know that's not fair.
We're not giving those names out, but I thought what you were going to ask me is when a guy can play multiple positions, do the bigger teams drool and want to go and grab them to have that type of versatility?
Well, I will say this: I saw a lot of scouts, so to speak, camouflage gear in disguise, looking at players, talking to them, whispering in their ear. So that, like I said, that's a heaven, as a playground for a major teams to get good players.
Well, sure, it's tough because, I think a lot of the coaches out there, when they discover this young talent, they get a little nervous, and sometimes it's about just trying to keep your guys.
Yeah.
And it can be rough. There's no doubt about it. I wish I had the magic formula of what to tell those guys, of how to keep their guys, but at the end of the day, they're grown men. If they want to go, they
Nothing you
go.
can do about it.
So then we'll get to Sub City, who finished 4th place, and they had some weird games. They had that crazy slugfest with the Fat Kids on Saturday.
That was wild.
And then on Sunday, they beat Traffic 1-0 in a game where I think they were being no-hit for like 5 innings,
Oh.
and there might have only been 5, maybe 6 total hits in the entire game.
Was the wind blowing in or something?
It was a little bit, but it wasn't like howling in. But it was just, it was a crazy ball game. Nobody could get a hit, let alone score a run. So Sub City acquitted themselves very well. Nice performance, and they were a lot of fun to be around. Talked to a few of their guys, gave them some free milkshake coupons.
That was nice of you.
So they were
Show the love.
Well, they were all out in the parking lot. The store was sticking them on everybody's windshield, and they did come by our table, and we had a few extras, so we kind of passed them out to them. So now we get to the Goons.
All right.
Tied for 5th with Sauce, and we'll have that picture. And Goons, Sauce, we did it alphabetically, so I don't want Sauce to think we, weren't thinking about them. But again, we talked about the Goons. They got a couple of guys that can flat out run on that team.
My guy for the Goons is the lefty. I think he plays center field. He's number 0. He can fly. He can fly. We played the Goons, and unfortunately they beat us. We needed one more inning. and to make the game different. But the Goons were really coached well by Marla. But back to that lefty, he can fly around those bases. When he hit a pop-up, when I looked up, the guy dropped the ball in center. And by the time I looked back, he's almost at third.
Yeah, speed kills. Speed kills. That little Jalen Smith from F-Town hit a line drive, one hopper to the center fielder, and turned it into a double. And Bobby Ronald said
Whoa.
he went back, looked at the video of the game, and from the time he made contact until he was sliding into second, 5 seconds.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's quick.
That's
That
nice.
is quick.
I think we should look into like having a softball combine. Something I know I put more on your plate, but guess what? It's a buffet.
Well, we'll see. I don't know if managers that currently have players would be too happy about that.
We'll do it in the wintertime.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
It's something to think about.
Sure. Getting back to the teams, here's the picture of Sauce. They had a very good run, and if I'm not mistaken, the batting champ, Nick Casano, played for Sauce, and he hit the ball, man. He 706 in a glove tournament.
Ooh.
So he was doing very well, and I thought Sauce hung in there. They competed all weekend, and they probably the best they looked all year too, I would think. But definitely a good performance. Brian Sloan doing a great job with that team, and all of that hard work, getting all the tournaments paid off last weekend. And if I'm not mistaken, they too are coming. Goons are coming. 10 Deep is coming. Savage is coming. And, of course, Fat Kids. So I believe all top 6 are taking advantage of the paid entry and
The
a little
experience.
bit of bonus money. So that's a good deal for them.
That's a great deal for them. And then the SSA does a great job pushing and promoting up-and-coming teams to enter the next level and take that big step and that big leap.
And, of course, we'll take a little break before we get to the award winners. Sweet Buzz, Gold Rush Gaming, our 2 anchor partners for the Chicago Summer Series. When you come out to these events and you see our banners, please support the people that support 16-inch softball, that make everything we do possible, including this show and everything else. So those banners aren't up there for show. They're up there so that you can see who the good guys are.
Oh, yeah.
So moving along, MVP from the Fat Kids, Alberto Magana. And
Congratulations, Alberto. Great job.
He was unbelievable. He not only was playing good defense, he hit, I believe, 563 and got a huge home run in that Sub-City game late. At the time, it was 14-13, top of the 7th. He hits a solo shot, and they ended up winning that game 15-14. So that ended up being kind of the game winner.
The walk-off, huh?
Well, it wasn't a walk-up. It was in the top. But Alberto, they call him Chulo, he had a great weekend, very solid, and just played great. The other kid that was in consideration was Brandon Molina, who also hit 563, their center fielder.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Brandon had a terrific weekend as well. He's one of my favorite younger players.
So is that a slip? Was that a Freudian slip?
What do you mean?
Is that a Freudian slip? That means he's one of your Geo people.
Well, I didn't say that.
Well, I'm
You
just
said that.
asking.
But he is one of my favorite players. I really love his game. I just think that he's very smooth. He glides to the ball. He's got a great arm, and he can hit a little bit fast. And there's no wasted motion, no herky-jerky stuff. He just kind of gets to everything and makes it look simple. So, again, Alberto, don't mean to slight you. You were magnificent as well.
Congratulations to all the Fat Kids, too.
These are some of the first-team all-tournament members. as usual, kind of later in the day. Not everybody is still there, but here are some of the guys that were on the team. We'll let you take a look at them. I'll read the entire list coming up, so don't want you to think we're slighting anybody. And we'll move over. Second team, again, a lot of second teamers tend to come from teams that are a little bit farther down place-wise. So, of course, a lot of them are gone. But, and TP, I think he was there accepting the award for another 10 deep guy.
Yeah, I think so.
And, of course, Anthony Misek and Jason Camarillo also made the all-team second team. So now we'll put the names up of the individuals who were first team all-tournament. These kids all had great weekends. I'm going to zoom in just a hair on this so that you guys can get a little better look at their names. Manny Sanchez from the Goons.
There you go.
And
good picture.
And Manny is, if I'm not mistaken, the son of Manny Sanchez, who does the food for us.
Manny, you does the umpire too, or try to umpire? Just joking with you, Manny.
No comment.
All right, just joking, Manny. You're my guy.
And here's your guy, Latrell Giles,
Okay.
10 deep.
Well, I tell you.
Nick Casano, the batting champ from Sauce. Danny Ellert from the Snappers. And I've known and watched Danny for a long time. Undersized kid, knows how to get on base. Had a terrific weekend for the Snappers. And the guy they call Remo, Drew Riemenschneider. Drew, I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. Out of F-Town, Remo played third base, had a great weekend with the glove and with the bat. Blake Helms from Punch, another kid who had a very good weekend. Of course, Alberto, our MVP, and Mr. Perfect, Angelo Feliciano from the Fat Kids.
Well, what do you mean, Mr. Perfect? Please expound upon that.
Well, Angelo, a little while back, pitched a perfect game against the Snappers in the No Glove A. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we actually gave Angelo a little plaque to commemorate that. So Angelo, he not only pitched great, but he also hit this weekend and really had a nice weekend. And a kid I'm really happy for, Matt Peckus, he's been going through a few things. Matt was very emotional when he got his award, and especially his first team plaque. And Matt really came to life on Sunday and really produced big time. Of course, the guy they call Stretch, Eric Panic.
One of my favorites.
Had a terrific weekend. He was pounding the ball all weekend, and Stretch, one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet.
He looked taller this weekend, too. I don't know, maybe I got short, but he looks a little taller.
Well, me and you are old, so we're probably shrinking.
We're shrinking a little bit,
Yeah,
huh?
we're shrinking.
Slow down, Stretch.
And, of course, Brandon Molina, who I just talked about from the Fat Kids, and another kid who's a real solid player. We don't get to see him a lot, but he tends to play well in these tournaments, Brett Capjack from Savage. And Brett had a real nice weekend as well and was one of the driving forces behind Savage making it to the championship game. So those guys all played great. They really competed. Their teams did well. And congratulations to everybody who made first team.
Can I also add some? I want to add Carol Stream. Because when it rained that day, I thought we were done. I was in my car about to pull off, and you called me and told me, hold tight, wait. And the conditions after the rain were simply amazing.
Well, turf. That's why we do it. I know during the rain there were puddles on the turf.
Yeah.
Matt Dozen asked me, are we going to be able to play? And Anthony Kenny, the park director, said, don't worry, Gio. As soon as it stops raining, it'll disappear, and it did.
You couldn't tell it rained.
Right, and everybody jumped on right away.
Yep.
So here's the second team all-tournament, and we'll do the same thing. We'll
All right.
blow them up a little bit. So we got Nick McLawhorn from the Goons,
All right, goon it up.
and Nick was hanging around the table and talking to us most of the weekend.
So he didn't sauce you up to get on the team.
No.
Okay,
no,
okay.
he earned
Just
it.
checking. All right.
He earned
just kidding.
And then Kenny App from the Snappers. Always nice to see an older guy have a weekend, and Kenny played great. Kenny
He's
been
on the
around.
Raiders, right?
I don't. Yeah, I believe he was with the
Yeah.
Raiders.
Wow. Okay. Good
George-
job, Kenny.
George Bliss is shaking his head. Yes.
The great George Bliss.
Of course, Jalen Smith, who we talked about, just a terrific defender, had a great two-way weekend, bat and glove, and certainly provided a few thrills along the way. Ben Rettenmeyer from Punch. Ben also had a real good weekend. Matt Scott, their leadoff man from Menace, was terrific.
Yeah. He's a problem.
Yeah, he's a good player. He doesn't seem to say a lot, just goes about his business, lefty, nice player. Caden, I don't know if it's Cruz, Krusc from Sub City, and Brock Pappas from Sub City, both had real nice weekends. We've seen Brock Pappas quite a bit in the past, and Brock's a really nice ball player. Anthony Misek from the Fat Kids, Bryce Grimm from Punch, Nico Garcia, another familiar name, with Savage, and Jason Camarillo from the Fat Kids. So that's your second team, and they really all had a terrific weekend as well. I thought it was a great weekend. People in Carroll Stream were great. We already talked about the turf. I thought the players were very patient, both during the rain and during the weekend when we had a couple of little spray showers that didn't last very long. And so we appreciate it. The conduct was great. Everybody was having a great time, and just a terrific event.
Yeah, it was a terrific event. And once again, you can check the box because the SSA did a great job, as always, and the players did a great job, as always, and the manager, with the exception of me, did a great job, as always.
Oboes.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, but
Next topic.
so that's our wrap-up for the Class A glove. Coming up, of course, we got the men's 16-inch major, and that'll be in Joliet, starting a week from this Friday, August 30th. And we're going to have games on Friday. We're going to have a home run contest. We're going to have an all-star game Friday. So it should be kind of a big party. Then, of course, the tournament will resume Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, we're having a women's national championship tournament.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it is. So we got a lot of neat stuff coming up. We will do a preview show after we get the draw, and it should be a lot of fun next week. This show this week is a little shorter, but we wanted to make sure we showed you guys the all tournament teams, and we'll be putting some of these slides up on Facebook so you guys can take your time and comment and congratulate your favorite players.
Or your favorite coach, Obos.
Hobos, the great 48.
Yeah, well, hey, I can't help myself.
Yeah, so still got a lot of softball, folks. Next weekend's going to be a riot, 24 teams, 3 from Iowa. We got Rismondo, 12-inch team coming in, and I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. If you haven't been to Joliet, great park and good concession area, a lot of room, a lot of places with shade, and the turf is fantastic. They redid their dugouts, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it always is, and like I said before, and I'll say it again, this is when the big boys play, and it's going to be a little more intense environment, but it's going to be a fun environment. And may the best team win, and look forward to our next broadcast.
Absolutely, and last but not least, Jerry, I think I just lost my train of thought, sorry. I just think that the big question going in is, will Highway repeat?
I don't see why they can't. I'm going to step out on the limb, and like I predicted yesterday with Iron winning, I don't see why Highway can't go back to back.
Well, they got the talent, and we'll see.
Without question.
We'll see if they defend what is theirs.
Well, you know what?
The title.
This event for the last 2 years has been a Washington Park team-dominated event, and I don't see why it won't dominate again. So, I mean, I'll just be quite honest with you guys.
Well, that's, you know what,
Truth.
BTA played terrific 2 years ago. High Y was terrific last year.
Maybe the Pharaohs might jump in this year. So I'm going to get off my pick for High Y, and I'm going to take the Pharaohs. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm taking the Pharaohs instead of High Y. I love you guys. I'm going to go with the Pharaohs. We're going to go three-peat right down the row.
So if I was on High Y, I'd be glad that you took the Malouk off of me.
Yeah, I did them a favor.
So anyways, folks, I know it's a short show. They actually got a couple of games out here in Melrose. And who knows, maybe we'll have a surprise game of the week coming up later on. But for now, this is Gio with Jerry Brown. And we're going to sign off. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a nice day.